So why is this night different than all the other nights? I don't know if it's different. I don't know if it's better. I rather enjoy this night. I think it's a wonderful tradition, but I resent it very much, and so do my children. You guys, these weren't Jews crossing the sea into Israel, okay? These were Frankists. We're supposed to believe that these group of Frankists just magically left Egypt. I mean, clearly they were being led by Bibi Netanyahu, okay, into the Red Sea, crossing into Israel. And nobody talks about the ethnic cleansing of Egyptians, okay? Why are we not taught that?
It's in their Talmud. I refuse to call this night better than all the other nights. That's Jewish supremacy. I refuse to call them slaves. They're crushing it in every domain. I refuse to call them victims. And the number of Jews that were slaves in Egypt, I mean, that number's been revised multiple times.
And I think obviously Moses was clearly the chief villain in the story. Look what happened to the Jews since. You think they were actually free when they went into the desert? I mean, it was obviously better in Egypt.
It's in their Talmud.
See, not a lot of people know this. When I found this out, it was just like totally mind-blowing. But God in the Old Testament might have been in the Mossad. Many, many times throughout the Old Testament, particularly in the Passover story, he particularly favors one group. Can you guess which group that is? I'm not saying, but you know. God passed over all the Jewish houses. I'm not saying it was all Jews, but a lot of the Jews that were there, God passed over and specifically targeted the Egyptians. So clearly God had a preference. So it's very, very likely, and I'm not saying this conclusively, but it's very likely that God was in the Mossad and this was a PSYOP operation to protect the Jews in Egypt. Not a lot of people are talking about this, but it says here, God reached out with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. You know what else has a strong hand and an outstretched arm? Bolsheviks. This little goat, that burnt the stick, that beat the dog, that's clearly animal abuse. I don't see how we can condone that. How anyone could, really. I have a dog. I love dogs. I love all animals, actually. How could you beat the dog, burn the stick, and beat the dog? Bit the cat. This is clearly animal abuse. Maybe God was introducing fentanyl into Egypt. That's a real problem.
Did you hear about that document that came out that said Pharaoh was actually JFK? One of the pyramids was the same one they found on Epstein's Island. And when you ask these questions, they just call you a liar. They just call you hateful. They just call you an anti-Semite. No one's talking about the genocide of the Egyptians, right? No one's talking about what happened when they tried to cross the Red Sea and, there was a PSYOP that just Red Sea just magically closed on them. Obviously Jews controlling the ocean. It's in their Talmud.
Okay, I'm going to bench.
Is this Haggadah? Is this a Talmud?